10 millimeter auto versus 44 Magnum and revolvers. And what I have today is our Hornady custom ammunition. So I'm going to use my 4-inch barrel Smith & Wesson revolvers to do this test. My 4-inch barrel Smith & Wesson 610 and 10 millimeter, and it's actually a 4 1/4 inch model 69 and 44 Magnum. So what we have today is our Hornady custom, and we're using XTP bullets in there. So our 10 millimeter is a 155 grain XTP rated at 1410 feet per second. Our 44 mag is a 200 grain XTP rated at 1500 feet per second. You generally lose a lot more velocity in a handgun with 44 Magnum than 10 millimeter, so I think we'll probably be pretty close in velocity. But 155 grain 10 millimeter versus 200 grain 44 Magnum, not an exact sectional density similarity here. I think this would have to be like 184 grain to be identical sectional density to that 10 millimeter. I think it's pretty close. It's close enough. So we're gonna see what we get here. So we're gonna go through the chronograph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy we get at the same time. Then I'm gonna do my 10% clear ballistic test. We're gonna go into plain clear ballistics to see what the best potential of those cartridges are. No hollow point getting clogged with denim or anything like that. Then after that, I'm going to do more of our real world simulation where we have 4 layers of denim on this first 3-inch piece that represents our pectoral muscle. After that, I'll have a 1/4 inch medium density fiberboard to represent hitting ribs or sternum. That'll be more of our real world simulation. And then I am going to shoot at the steel target to see what kind of practical accuracy I can get with these. So let's get started with this test. All right, first up we have our 10 millimeter auto rated at 1410 feet per second. I believe that's through a 5-inch semi-auto barrel. A 4-inch revolver gives you about the same amount of barrel travel as a 5-inch semi-auto, but there's going to be some gas loss. So it's rated at 1410 feet per second. Let's see how close I can get to 1410 feet per second. I'm about 5 yards from that target there. Let's see what we get. 1363, 1375, 1353, 1344, 1290. That last one was kind of inconsistent. Looks like my chronograph sensors are lined up a little bit closer to the right of that bullseye, or that left of that bullseye. So I am aiming a little bit to the left. So that's not where it's not impacting to the left. I'm just aiming a little bit to the left. So 44 mag, let's see what we get with this. Right at 1500. 1324. 1266. 1236. 1221. 1227. Pretty accurate, and that's exactly where I'm aiming. You know, that's part of the reason why sometimes I have chronograph errors, is I'm not lining those sensors up exactly with that bullseye, and then I'm going for the bullseye and it's not quite going over them correctly. But pretty accurate overall. But this is about what I would expect with something like this. Definitely below rated velocity. Our 10 millimeter wasn't too far below rated velocity until that last shot, and that really brought that average down quite a bit. But you know, both pretty powerful still. So let's hit our ballistics gel block, see how these compare. All right, plain clear ballistics shot. This is our best potential shot here. I do this a lot of times because some ammo never gets hollow point expansion because it clogs with denim. Stuff like this would still expand through denim, but I still like to keep that as a consistent part of my test, just our plain clear ballistics shot, before we move on to more of a real world simulation. So 10 millimeter, let's see what this does. All right. Let's hit that with our 44 Magnum. Let's go take a look. All right, this hit pretty hard, both of them. 10 millimeter on the bottom, 44 on top. And there's some differences here, and honestly what I'm seeing though is those differences are just a difference of scaling. You know, a larger diameter, a little more bullet weight, you scale up what you're getting. but it looks like you're getting everything that you're getting with the 44 mag with the 10 millimeter. You're just not getting quite as much damage and quite as much penetration there, and that's partly because there's a little bit less sectional density. But you know what we're seeing with the 10 millimeter is greater than what you see with a lot of 357 magnums, and what you see with the 44 magnum is pretty good performance, definitely better performance, but you're dealing with a lot more recoil. So both of them have really good tearing damage in here. I always find it funny when people say you cannot see damage in clear ballistics, so you know, this is just a straight line, right? But they're doing pretty well. What we're seeing with our 10 millimeter and 14 inches of penetration, camera parallax will make it look like that track is a little bit further up, but yeah, we're right at 14 inches, so it definitely dumped its energy right away and did really well. Now our 44 mag, we got about 17.25 inches of penetration, so neither of these in plain clear ballistics would be over penetration even against a two-legged attacker, so that's pretty good so far. So let's put on our denim, which will inevitably lower expansion a little bit, and we'll put on our rib simulation in there, and we'll see how they compare that way. All right, more of our real world simulation. 4 layers of denim, 3 inches of clear ballistics, 1/4 inch MDF. Let's see what we get with our 10 millimeter here. All right, let me set that back up. We'll hit it with the 44 Magnum. All right, 44 mag. This part's always fun with the 44 mag because it likes to hit that first 3 inches into the MDF, and the MDF force will push that 3 inches back, oftentimes knocking it down. But we'll see what we get with our 44 mag here. Let's go take a look. All right, so our MDF is pretty much exploded. I did, you know, take a look at the MDF before I put it back in place. Massive hole with the 10 millimeter. So it's still dumping its energy in the first 3 inches, and then the 44 just completely destroyed it. Another interesting thing here is it looks like there's more pieces of busted off lead in the first 3 inches with the denim in place with both of these than with no denim in place, which is kind of interesting here. Now when we go into more of our real world simulation, big difference here in what happened. Really big difference. That extra momentum and extra power simply pushed that 44 really deep. So our 10 millimeter here, what we're looking at is about 15.25 inches of penetration. So again, I think this is a fantastic personal defense choice. It did everything you want it to do. Now our 44 mag, it did over penetrate, but not by a huge amount. We're talking 21 inches of penetration. Really good expansion overall. In fact, that bullet is sitting right here, poking out. So really controlled expansion, good expansion. That's typically what you see with an XTP bullet. So what I'm seeing here is both of these did fantastic, but our 44 mag, I would say, is slightly more suited to, you know, dangerous animal protection. However, that being said, this over penetration wasn't that great. So, you know, I would say our 44 mag is a really good choice if you're looking for something that can kind of double as a personal defense round on the street, but also could be a good choice for, you know, out in the woods, stopping something large and dangerous. And that's not to say our 10 millimeter couldn't stop something large and dangerous, but this, all the performance we got with the 10 millimeter is very similar to most of your personal defense choices that are not typically used against large dangerous animals. So yeah, I would say that our 44 mag is a good overall choice. Our 10 millimeter, I wouldn't use that as like a woods round or anything like that. So yeah, those look pretty good overall. So let's take a close-up look at these, then I'll shoot our steel, see what kind of practical accuracy I can get. All right, so here's a close-up look at these bullets going through a plain gel. Here is our 10 millimeter here. Fantastic expansion. I like the way XTPs are just very consistent with how they expand. They expand a little with, you know, a little velocity. They expand a lot with a lot of velocity. But unlike a lot of bullets, if you pack the power on there, they don't fragment. So just overall, a really good bullet design overall. Our 44 Magnum, not a whole lot different. We just have more base going on there, more sectional density. Pretty similar overall size, really fantastic expansion with both of these. I can't tell which one's bigger. To be honest, right now, probably the 10mm might be a tad larger round, which means its percentage of expansion definitely got more. Now going through a medium density fiber board, not a huge difference there, and that's, you know, a testament to the toughness of those bullets. Our 10mm looks just about as big as it did through plain gel. Looks really good overall. That's definitely a little bit bigger than this 44 going through an MDF. So very consistent all around performance and expansion with all of these. I really like, you know, how these are very consistent like that. So that's a close-up look at those bullets. So I did run out of paint to paint my steel, so I came all the way back to 75 yards so I don't have to, you know, have all these marks on the steel from shooting it up close and then have no paint to repaint those marks. So I thought, why not just for fun come back 75 yards? These are both very powerful cartridges, so they'll cover that distance and still hit with a lot of power if I can hit the target. So I figured that would be fun to do. So let's do some relaxing single action. Got some 10mm here. Let's see what this does for me. I'll try to see where these are hitting. Try to do my best here. I definitely pulled that. So I was aiming a little bit high. Let me aim a little bit lower. Huh. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure where those were hitting. I didn't do very well at all. I only got 2 out of 6. But I think some of them may have been shooting low. I'm gonna aim dead center again. See if I can figure out where these are going. That one was a little bit right, so let me aim a little bit left. Those are going all over the place. Almost looks like my sight is kind of tilted a little bit, which is odd. I haven't done anything to cause that. But I could not find anything that was really consistent with that. And that last shot, I definitely aimed center, and it hit really, really far to the right. So now with this, you may have seen I have to kind of hold it different because there's so much stuff coming out right here. And yes, I've checked this. This is actually a .003 gap. It's a very tight gap, but it still blows out a lot of stuff for some reason. So I have to kind of wrap my thumb back behind. So see how this 44 does. I pulled that one. On that miss, I definitely felt myself anticipate that recoil, and I saw my sight go really far high before I popped that shot off. So I just wanted to call that out. It's not a weird ammo anomaly. I just missed. So 44 again. So I had another miss there, but it's safe to say that I'm doing a little bit better with the 44 mag at this distance than the 10mm. And I'm still not sure if it's a revolver issue or what, but you know, with both my 9mm and my 10mm revolvers, it seems like I'm not as accurate with them at more distance than what I am with, you know, traditional revolver cartridges. That could just, it could just be me. It could be coincidental that I'm not shooting those guns very well, but it seems like there's not a lot of consistency. Like, generally, if I miss a lot with something from this distance, it's like most of them are going in one spot. And with that 10mm, it seemed like, you know, I shouldn't see some moving 3 foot to the right and some move to the left and some under it. Just wasn't a whole lot of consistency there. So, yeah, I don't know. It could just be the way this ammo is. But, you know, with the 44 mag, you know, every single miss, I felt myself jerk that trigger, and I knew it was going to miss the second I pressed that trigger. So it's safe to say that, you know, at least in this gun, this ammo is relatively accurate. So overall, looking at this, it's pretty simple to sum this up. You know, our 10mm really is, at least in the lighter hollow point, it's definitely a better personal defense round. And I'm not saying that I came out here to say that it was a bare round, especially in a 155 grain. But it looks like even if you lighten that bullet weight on the 44 mag, you're still always going to get a little bit more penetration than what you might necessarily want to get. So yeah, overall, you know, I like both of these, but overall I'd say, you know, it's hard to say which one did better here. Obviously, for a personal defense round and a closer range round, our 10mm is fantastic. A lot better than this 44, because the 44 has a lot to deal with, like a lot of recoil. But if you got time to take that shot, it seems like over range, you know, that 44 mag hits a lot harder. So interesting results nonetheless. So that's what you get today. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.